We are live. Thank you guys for joining me. I definitely appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in, hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Tuesday evening. I know you saw the headline. Trump pleads not guilty. They had him down in the courthouse today in Miami, Florida. That's all right, though. I don't think any of those charges are going to stick, in my opinion. But who am I? Get my stuff out of the way so you can actually see something. Bang, how about that? Bickety bammo, how about that one? I definitely appreciate y'all being here. I'll get this thing started right quick. Before we do that, make sure y'all head over to Rebelwithoutareason.com for all your fun accessories and whatnot. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more at Rebelwithoutareason.com. You can also get a link for the show over there just in case they try to hide the show from y'all. You know they do that from time to time. Anthony's in the house. What up, Anthony? What's going on, dude? What the hell's going on, man? Let me get my cursor all figured out here. Thank y'all for joining me. I definitely appreciate y'all. God blamo. Thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate it. Let's get into this madness. I'll jump right into it. Y'all saw Trump got taken into court today. They had it all over the news. They never want to say his name unless it has something negative going on with it. And when that happens, oh boy, you can't get him to shut the fuck up. Let's get this train started here. I appreciate you being here, sir. So much news going on today. Let's do this one right here. There's Trump's motorcade coming through the city there, making his way to the courthouse. And CNN was saying he had a couple dozen people out there, is what they were saying. Look at all the support this man's got. Kidding me right now? Shout out to Graham Allen for this post here. It says, "We the people stand behind President Trump on this dark day in American history." Crazy as hell, man. Trying to throw this man in jail. He's obviously not going to go to jail. I mean, it's obvious, but he's got to play the legal game now. And after he got done with the courthouse, he said, "You know what, man? I want to go over to the cafe and holler at my people right quick."
Well, excuse my ignorance that I did not, but let's listen into this.
Can't hear a damn thing. Let's listen in on all this restaurant noise. You got some Jewish folks that they were praying with him. I'm surprised they're showing that prayer on Fox News.
I did not, but let's listen into this.
Yeah, let's listen into that restaurant noise. Can't hear a damn thing. Not a damn thing. What's up, cat? Cat's in the house. Sonia should be listening or on her way. You know, all this thing, just a big old witch pursuit thing. Let's see what we missed while this stuff was going on. Because, you know, they're always doing other stuff. Shout out to Travis and Flint for this one. This is what you missed during the Trump indictment. Matt Gaetz revealed that one of the prosecutors on Jack Smith's team donated to Biden in 2020 and faced misconduct allegations in 2009. Energy Secretary Granholm, who lied about owning stocks during the confirmation hearing, held stocks in 6 companies, and her husband also held stock. She also failed to disclose some of these in her annual disclosures. Burisma member who bribed the Bidens has secret recordings that the GBI has known about. I think it might be a misquote right there. FBI has known about. Or it could be Georgia Bureau of Investigations has known about. And they failed to investigate. No distractions. That's what this is all about, man. Just distracting the voters, man. They're going to say, oh my God, Trump is so bad. I'm doing good, Kat. How you doing? I appreciate y'all being here. Yeah, he had a few hundred there, or more. There's probably a couple thousand people just at that little entrance right there. He got a lot of support, man. They try to make it look like he don't, but he does. Well, there are those rare occasions where you get those lunatics out there. Where there was a lunatic that ran off in front of the motorcade as he was going or leaving the courthouse, I believe. Yeah, he was just leaving the courthouse. And some maniac jumped off in front of the motorcade like, dude, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, bro? See another clip from inside the restaurant here. Jake Tapper is funny as hell, dude. Crying into his oatmeal about Trump. Get this off the screen. Get him off the screen. We don't need to see this anymore. Watch CNN meltdown over Trump.
National security laws and then obstructing and refusing to cooperate with the FBI.
Yeah, whatever this spectacle is that's unfolding before us, let's remember what this case is about. Let's remember what this indictment charges. Again, Donald Trump is charged with a series of federal felonies for mishandling the most sensitive government documents that we have and for obstruction of justice, along with Walt Nauta, who is charged with intentionally setting up lies to the grand jury, to the FBI. Any way you look at this, and again, despite whatever may be going on in that restaurant, this case isn't going to be settled legally in a cafe. It's going to be settled in the court based on the facts and law.
The folks in the control room, I don't need to see any more of that. He's trying to turn this in. He's trying to turn it into a spectacle, into a campaign ad. That's enough of that. We've seen it already. Let's go over again the 37 charges that Donald Trump is facing right now. We don't have to go into each one.
Sure.
Shut up, idiot.
Yeah, we don't need to see any more of that. We don't need to see any more of these counts 1 through 31 and 1 through 37. Nobody gives a damn about that crap.
Get the hell out of here. Jake Tapper crying in his Cheerios. You little crybaby. Oh, that fighter Mazdaval, he was there too, showing Trump support. Check him out.
Gotta keep it clear, though. We gotta keep this clear.
So he stopped at Versailles. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm turning it to hell. Yeah, here's the overhead view of the motorcade incident. Like, he jumps right off in front of this thing. Like, dude, what are you doing? Going to jail. And he has got a little prison outfit on from the 50s or something. It's got stripes and shit all over it. But look at these fools. And Antifa is supposed to be there anyway. They sent out a call to action to all their comrades to be there. I mean, they don't even know what vehicle he's in, first of all. They gonna chase him down the highway? What do they think? What the hell they plan on doing? Them things are fortified, dude. There ain't no way you're gonna get into that, little stupid Antifas. Bunch of damn Pantifas. Go back here. I'll show you some more footage of that on the ground level. On the ground. Yeah, here he is right here. As the motorcade was going by there, you saw him get pushed up against the wall. This was the guy right here. It's ridiculous duty right here. Get his ass, cops. Oh, that one dude smacked him in the face. Yeah, that one dude hit him in the face with the Trump hat. Get on the ground. Stop reaching. Stop resisting. How fitting that he's already in his little prison outfit. What kind of mugshot? This dude knew he was going to jail already. What an idiot. They'll probably have him on CNN tomorrow saying, why did you protest Trump's motorcade? Trump is a dictator. Shut up, idiot. You hear most of the people saying USA, USA. And supposedly they weren't putting up any barriers to keep the lefties away from the righties. That's dangerous, man. You're asking for trouble. Here's another one from Laura Loomer. It's chaos out there, though, for sure. Are you hearing some lock him up? You know the lefties, because they got backpacks usually. Cameraman got a backpack, though, too. Get all them batteries in that bitch.
It's the dude with the lock him up sign who was bothering everybody who was wearing like a jail suit. He just jumped in front of Trump's motorcade and the Secret Service had to tackle him. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That guy in the prison suit who had a locked Trump inside, who was also supporting Diaz-Canel earlier when I talked to him, who was bothering people.
So the Secret Service just had to tackle him?
Yeah, Secret Service just tackled him. He ran right in front of Trump's car, and Secret Service just came and pummeled him to the floor.
Wow.
So he was wearing it was a lock him up sign that he was posting. Now his ass is going to jail.
How ironic, that's funny. That dude's gonna tell that story till the day he dies, man. You know, this one time I was at the Trump thing and this fool jumped in front of the motorcade. I seen it. Crazy as hell. People are crazy. Why would you do that, dude? You're going all the way to jail. All the way. They would take your ass right then. Probably beat your ass a little bit too, just to teach you a lesson. And jump in front of the president's motorcade, even if it was Biden. Can't do it.
Talking about the big guy.
Let's talk about see if we can get to what's his name on here. Trying to get Jim Jordan's clip to play here. It's going to be stupid now. Everything's stupid now. Don't want to play stupid now. Let's keep going. 2 can play at that game though. This is from our local station here. It says articles of impeachment. Tennessee lawmaker Andy Ogles has filed articles of impeachment against President Biden, alleging violations in family financial dealings and his mishandling of the southern border. 2 can play at that game, dude. Y'all want to play court weird shit? We can play court weird shit. Cool, Atomic. If you let me know when that starts, I'll jump over. If you can, that's cool. I'm trying to keep an eye on it. He alleges that Biden has weaponized his time in office, including his time as vice president, to shield the business and influence peddling schemes from his family from congressional oversight and public accountability. He notes companies created by family members of President Biden and associates used to funnel millions of dollars to Biden's family members, and allegations while serving as vice president in 2016. Everybody knows all that, man. We know all that now. But even Trump said, hey, man, this sets precedents for me. You guys want to do some weird shit? We can do some weird shit, too. And you know, security was tight out that bitch. I don't know where James O'Keefe was going, but this security agent was giving him the thorough pat down. Sir?
What are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Security tight as hell, boy. You better watch out. Cat says they would not do anything to the Biden crime family. Yeah, you're probably right. They got more evidence against Biden's, but still on indictments. What up, Bonds? Yep, still not. They're doing the articles of impeachment now. Here, the Tennessee rep just did it. We'll see where it goes. See here, this one here says, happening now, the Biden family's been selling out America for years and the FBI is allowing it. According to records obtained by the House Oversight Committee, Joe Biden and his family have been receiving millions from China and Romania and other countries for years. According to Rep. James Comer, the family has no business or income generating assets. It appears the only thing they're selling is influence. Apparently, the FBI has been running cover for the Biden family instead of investigating any of this. Director Wray even denied the existence of the FD 1023 and only overturned it once threatened with contempt. Sonia. Go back here. Make sure y'all hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button. I definitely appreciate y'all being here. Yeah, people disappear all the time, don't they? Just out of nowhere. Whoopsie. Yeah, in case y'all didn't know, Joe Biden had a Juneteenth concert a few minutes ago. Like they're doing it now, but happy Juneteenth, everybody, I guess. Trump's supposed to go here pretty soon. So let's do this Tucker episode 3 right quick, and we should probably be right on time for that. I'm hoping. Right around in that time frame. If y'all don't mind watching that, we'll do it. You should have started at 8:15. Let's go see. He's not quite there yet, I don't think.
But the crime, the homeless problem, and even his appearance going to a English Laundry. It was a restaurant during the COVID lockdown. He, went out to celebrate someone's birthday party and got called out for the media for basically, doing what he was encouraging all of California not to do, which was stay home. I think Sean Hannity did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, we're not there yet. I'm going to keep it going in the background though. And we'll see where we're at here in just a few minutes. He ain't going just yet. Oh yeah, that Jake Tapper, he's stupid. I don't want to see anymore. Get him off the screen. He was telling the producers, get him off the screen. Like, dude, you're a reporter. You're just supposed to report the news, not be biased against it. I mean, they can hate him, I guess, if they want to, but yeah, I mean, and Tucker gives a pretty good reason why he's going to be voting for Trump, or why everybody should. We're going to watch that, and hopefully we'll be right on time. And you can also catch the Tucker video on YouTube and on Rumble. It should be ready about 8 o'clock or so. You can go back and watch this full thing. Share it out with your friends and whatnot. Give me 1 second to get this prepped up so I'm not all in his way with things. Okay, here we go.
The Biden administration arrested Donald Trump this afternoon. They had him arraigned and fingerprinted in a Miami courthouse like the accused felon he now technically is. These were the first steps in a process that is designed to put Donald Trump behind bars for the rest of his life. Cable news carried every moment of it live. It's unprecedented, they told us, with what looked like shock. But they weren't shocked. They knew this was coming. Everyone who's paid attention knew it was. What just happened was always going to happen. It's been inevitable since February 16th, 2016. That's the day Donald Trump made a blood enemy of the largest and most powerful organization in human history, which would be the federal government. Despite what you may remember, it wasn't anything that Trump had said about immigration or trade with China or rapists from Mexico. Those are the stories that dominated the headlines that year. Trump's a racist, they screamed. Stop him! But inside Washington, that was just noise. None of it really rated. Identity politics doesn't mean much to permanent Washington. What matters, then and now, is foreign policy. The invasions and occupations and proxy wars. The decisions that determine which global populations will thrive and which will die. The policies that come with trillion-dollar price tags. The ones that, over time, have made the counties around D.C. the richest suburbs in the world. In Washington, that's what actually matters. And it's obvious when you look carefully. When there's a debate about anything else, for example, the debt ceiling, both sides take their assigned positions and they start yelling. But when Congress decides to start a war, no matter how foolish or counterproductive or obviously disconnected from America's core interests that war may be, when that happens, the leaders of both parties automatically jump behind it like circus clowns. And then they stay there, sometimes for decades, They defend that war relentlessly against all evidence until somebody finally rings the all clear bell and they can begin to admit that actually maybe it wasn't such a great idea. We meant well, but it just didn't work out. The good news is we've learned a lot of important lessons. In the end, they usually do say something like that, but only after emotions have cooled and the damning details have begun to fade from collective memory. It's an apology that's not actually an apology, much less repentance, and it's years too late to matter in any case. But until then, that's all you're getting. Until then, no dissent is allowed. That's the first rule of Washington. But somehow Trump didn't bother to follow it. He is from out of town, so maybe he didn't know it was a rule, or maybe he just didn't care. Either way, 7.5 years later, we can point to the precise moment that permanent Washington decided to send Donald Trump to prison. Here it is. It's from the Republican candidates debate in Greenville, South Carolina.
We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. They lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
We should never have been in Iraq, Trump said. We destabilized the Middle East. Now, by the time Trump said that, a lot of Republican primary voters were starting to reach the same conclusion. How could they not? But it was the next line that doomed Trump to today's arrest. They lied, he said. There were no weapons of mass destruction, and they knew there were none. Now, when he said that, a few in the crowd booed. Most just sat there in silence, stunned. Can he say that? Well, he said it anyway. And by saying that, he sealed his fate. That was the one thing you were not allowed to say, because it implicated too many people on both sides, which on this topic is really just one side. Hillary Clinton was guilty of it, but so was Paul Ryan. All of them were guilty. They all knew, they all lied. And to a person, they hated Donald Trump for exposing them. After that, it was pretty clear that even if he did get elected president, Trump was going to have a very hard time controlling the federal government he was supposed to be in charge of. Most of permanent Washington decided that thwarting Trump was the single most important mission in their lives. Everything depended on it. Many of them said so publicly. But others didn't say so publicly. In fact, the stealthier ones took another path. They ran toward Trump, not away from him. They sucked up to him. They ingratiated themselves with the man they intuitively understood was susceptible to flattery, which Trump is. And they did this in order to subvert his new administration from the inside. There were a number of these, and you could spot them immediately. They were flatterers. Invariably, the ones who flattered Trump the most hated him the most and disagreed the most strongly with his views. You saw them in the hallways of the White House and at press conferences. They were there slobbering over their boss with elaborate self-abasement, as if they were addressing a monarch or a god. It was a scene from the Ottoman court. It was filthy and decadent, and it was false. Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, Lindsey Graham in the Congress. They all called Trump a visionary genius up until the moment he lost power. And then they unsheathed their real agenda, as always the neocon war agenda, and they piled on with maximum force. Here's Mike Pompeo, for example, on Fox News this morning.
President Trump had classified documents where he shouldn't have had them, and then when given the opportunity to return them, he chose not to do that for whatever reason. When somebody identifies that, you got to turn them in. And so that's inconsistent with protecting America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. And if the allegations are true, some of these were pretty serious, important documents, and so that's wrong.
May future historians hoping to unlock the mysteries of late Empire Washington study that clip, because it will reveal everything. That very same Mike Pompeo, the one who's sneering at Donald Trump on TV this morning, that guy served Donald Trump as both CIA director and as Secretary of State. Those are the two most powerful jobs in the federal government. And as he worked in those jobs, Pompeo promised, in fact, he swore, to support the president's agenda. Why? Because that's the way a democracy works. You vote for a candidate in the belief that his appointees will carry out the policies that you voted for. It's not about the president, it's about you, the voter. But Pompeo didn't do that. He didn't even try to do that. In fact, he undermined Trump's often stated commitment to peace and non-intervention abroad at every turn. His every waking hour was devoted to fomenting war in some faraway foreign country or other. Iran, Syria, Russia, North Korea, the list goes on. But rather than telling Trump that he disagreed with his ideas, as a man would, Pompeo toadied up to Trump, a man he despised, in the oiliest, most over-the-top way imaginable. Ask anyone who worked in that White House at the time. Who is the appointee most likely to tell Donald Trump on a daily basis that he was handsome, virile, sleek, and powerful? Mike Pompeo. That will be the consensus answer. Those of us who saw firsthand Pompeo's relentless kowtowing will never forget it. It was indelibly repulsive. No one with self-respect could do something like that. But Mike Pompeo did it effortlessly, with relish and verve. Now, this same person is telling Fox News viewers that he fears for the safety of our military, our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, in the approved phrase, because Donald Trump took some classified documents home and didn't immediately return them to the National Archives? What a lie that is. Mike Pompeo knows that's a lie. He spent his entire life in Washington. Washington is a city where internal memos about Labor Day are classified because everything is classified. Your government has classified more than 1 billion federal documents, most of them boring and pointless and a danger to no one, and locked them away in secret where you can't see them because you may be an American citizen, but not really, and therefore you don't have the necessary clearances to know what's going on. And by the way, none of this is done in order to make America safer, any more than COVID restrictions were designed to keep you healthy. No, it's a caste system. That's the point. And you're the untouchable in this hierarchy. Mike Pompeo knows that. Everybody who works in Washington knows that. How many secret documents do you think Dick Cheney took home with him while he was running the Iraq War? How many did his wife read? She never had a clearance. We'll never know the answer because there is no chance Dick Cheney will ever be investigated or his staffers will be told to wear wires in his presence. He will never be indicted for this. Of course not. Dick Cheney is a neocon. Donald Trump is not. Dick Cheney supports war with Russia. Trump does not. That's the difference. The rest is just a distraction. The prosecution of Donald Trump is transparently political. He's literally Joe Biden's main political opponent. He's polling over 60% among Republican voters right now. So Joe Biden is doing what no president has ever dared to do. He's using law enforcement to lock up his chief rival. That's happening right now. Anyone who denies it's happening is lying to you. But actually, it's worse than that. Trump's prosecution isn't just political, it's ideological. Nobody with Trump's views is allowed to have power in this country. Criticize our wars and you're disqualified. If you keep it up, we'll send you to prison. That's the message Washington is sending. Not just the Democratic Party is sending, but both parties are sending. Like so many Republicans, for example, the supposedly conservative governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, spent yesterday totally ignoring the destruction of the American justice system. Instead, he signed a highly important bill called the Crown Act, which, according to the celebratory tweet Abbott sent commemorating it, will, quote, prohibit discrimination based on textures and hairstyles historically associated with race. In other words, in Texas, cornrows are now protected by law. Having unapproved views about Ukraine is not. That's fine with most elected Republicans. They find Trump tiresome and embarrassing. Their donors hate him. They will not be sad if he dies in jail. But what about voters? What are they learning from this spectacle? Well, mostly they're learning that they have no power at all because nobody cares about them. But they already knew that. Unlike so many of our elected leaders, they have been to America recently. They know what it looks like. Have you seen it? If you've got a few days this summer, find out. Take a road trip and see for yourself. Drive 500 miles in any direction and then come home. How are things looking? Well, they should look great. The federal government spent $6.5 trillion last year. That's more than any government has ever spent, ever. So at the very least, you would expect pristine public roads. Oh no, that's not what you see when you drive around this country. There are potholes and Jersey barriers everywhere. Looks like Tegucigalpa before the Chinese decided to rebuild the infrastructure of Honduras. We don't have China buying our roads. So they're falling apart. You'd think the people you would pass on your road trip would look happy and prosperous. Again, this is a very rich country. But a lot of them don't. Quite a few appear to be strung out on drugs. You see them shuffling by shuttered storefronts in small towns. And you wonder, as you see all of this, where did all the money go? It's certainly not here. Well, it's in Washington. It's in Fairfax and Loudoun counties, and in leafy, perfectly manicured Northwest D.C. And of course, a huge chunk of it went to Ukraine, to Zelensky and his friends. Not because you voted for that. You didn't vote to give it to them. You never would. But because Joe Biden and his many allies, from Chuck Schumer to Mitch McConnell to Paul Ryan and every single news anchor on all of television, all of them believe that Ukraine, its borders, its future, its infrastructure are all more important than the town that you live in. They sincerely think that, and it's obvious. Everyone in power thinks that, except for Donald Trump. Whatever else you say about him, Trump is the one guy with an actual shot at becoming president who dissents from Washington's long-standing pointless war agenda. And for that one fact, they're trying to take Trump out before you can vote for him. And that should upset you more than anything that's happened in American politics in your lifetime. Even if you don't plan to vote for Donald Trump, even if you would die before voting for Donald Trump, which is your right, and a lot of good people feel that way, even still, the destruction of our democracy, which is the right of voters to support any candidate they want, even candidates who don't want war with Russia, the destruction of that should keep you up at night. Yes, Donald Trump is a flawed man, but his sins are minor compared to those of his persecutors. In this life, we don't get to choose our martyrs. We can only choose our principles, and America's are at stake.
Younger people say the news is full of lies.
In Kennedy's motorcade,
239 people. The death of Jeffrey Epstein.
There you go. That's episode number 3 of the Tucker on Twitter series. We're just waiting on Trump to show up at the event. Give me 1 second to see where we are. They said 8:45 and he just landed a second ago. The helicopter was coming in. So just hang tight. We're going to keep this train rolling here. We got about 3 minutes. I'm going to show y'all a couple more clips that I want y'all to see before we get going there. Boom, 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 boom. What up, Boomhauer's in the house? I'm keeping an eye on it. I got my eye on it.
Brief delay earlier. This indictment is something that is troublesome to our country. Rather,
he's getting there. We got just a few more minutes, guys. Hang tight. Yeah, I think this whole indictment is a bunch of BS. If I was Trump, I'd tell him to eat my ass like smothered pork chops. Get up off me. Y'all want to go to the Cuban restaurant and have some smothered pork chops? All you can eat, motherfucker. Oh, shit. I'm too much sometimes. We're waiting on you, boy. We got about 1 minute. I'm going to play this clip if it'll play for me. All right, so school officials are in panic now over kids revolting against Pride Day. Kids refused to wear the colors, and some even chanted their pronouns are USA.
Intolerance and homophobia.
Here we go.
Are unacceptable.
Attention to the stage.
Oh.
Of the United
Here comes
States,
Trump, sorry.
President Donald J. Trump.
We'll get back to the other story here in just a second. I want y'all to see that about those school teachers. I'm sorry about the kids. They are standing up against these pride people, having their own pride in their country and freedom, baby. Lee Greenwood trying to get my channel ding though. They do that beat drop right there, and I'm proud to be. Boom.
And defend her still today. I love this land. Kitty Lee Greenwood, you bastard. Yeah. God bless the USA, baby.
Thank you, thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor to have you here. And today we witness the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country. Very sad thing to watch. A corrupt sitting president had his top political opponent arrested on fake and fabricated charges of which he and numerous other presidents would be guilty, right in the middle of a presidential election in which he is losing very badly. This is called election interference and yet another attempt to rig and steal a presidential election. More importantly, it's a political persecution like something straight out of a fascist or communist nation. This day will go down in infamy, and Joe Biden will forever be remembered as not only the most corrupt president in the history of our country, but perhaps even more importantly, the president who, together with a band of his closest thugs, misfits, and Marxists, tried to destroy American democracy. But they will fail, and we will win bigger and better than ever before. Charging a former president of the United States under the Espionage Act of 1917 wasn't meant for this. An act for a crime so heinous that only the death penalty would do, and threatening me with 400 years in prison for possessing my own presidential papers, which just about every other president has done, is one of the most outrageous and vicious legal theories ever put forward in an American court of law. The Espionage Act has been used to go after traitors and spies. It has nothing to do with a former president legally keeping his own documents. As president, the law that applies to this case is not the Espionage Act, but very simply the Presidential Records Act, which is not even mentioned in this ridiculous 44-page indictment. Under the Presidential Records Act, which is civil, not criminal, I had every right to have these documents. The crucial legal precedent is laid out in the most important case ever on this subject, known as the Clinton Socks case. You know what that means? After leaving the White House, Bill Clinton kept 79 audio tapes in his sock drawer. They included discussions of U.S. military involvement in Haiti, discussions of U.S. foreign policy, both defense and offense, against Cuba, recordings of President Clinton's conversations with all of the many foreign leaders at the time. Think of that. Sensitive facts about trade negotiations taken from presidential briefings, discussions with the Secretary of State about conflict in Bosnia, and much, much more. Very big stuff. Not only was Bill Clinton never even considered for criminal prosecution based on the tapes he took, but when he was sued for them, he won the case. Judge Amy Berman Jackson's decision states, under the statutory scheme established by the Presidential Records Act, the decision to segregate personal materials from presidential records is made by the president during the president's term and in the president's sole discretion. You're surprised to hear that, aren't you? Any normal administration, even an opposing one, would consider that to be the end, but not the corrupt Biden administration. The SOX decision, as it's known, also states, quote, the National Archives and Records Administration, or NARA, does not have the authority to designate material as presidential records. They don't have the authority. NARA does not have the tapes in question, and NARA lacks any right, duty, or means to seize control of them. This is law. The president enjoys unconstrained authority to make decisions regarding the disposal of documents. That's unconstrained to make that decision. Neither the archivist nor Congress has the authority to veto the president's decision. The Presidential Records Act does not confer any mandatory or even discretionary authority on the archivist to classify records. Under the statute, this responsibility is left solely to the President of the United States. Think of that. That's the decision. Think of that. Now, just think of that. In other words, whatever documents a president decides to take with him, he has the right to do so. It's an absolute right. This is the law. And that is something that people have now seen, and it couldn't be more clear. They ought to drop this case immediately because they're destroying the country. And this is why no other president, even those who kept far more documents than I, has ever been even investigated, let alone charged with a crime. Because the sham indictment put forward by the Biden administration included staged photographs of boxes at Mar-a-Lago, many people have asked me why I had these boxes. Why did you want them? The answer, in addition to having every right under the Presidential Records Act, is that these boxes were containing all types of personal belongings, many, many things, shirts and shoes and everything. As can be seen in the picture where someone, not me, I wonder who it might have been, dumped one of the very neatly arranged boxes all over the floor. They were full of newspapers, press clippings, thousands of pictures, thousands and thousands of White House pictures. The White House photographers, some are with us today. They took so many pictures, and we saved all of them, and they were in those boxes. Clothing, memorabilia, and much, much more. I hadn't had a chance to go through all the boxes. It's a long, tedious job. It takes a long time, which I was prepared to do, but I have a very busy life. I've had a very busy life. They make it more busy because you're always fighting. And under the SOX decision, there seemed to be no rush. I wasn't in a rush because that decision was law. The other picture that was so vile, you remember that one? It was angry and corrupt, was the photo staged by the FBI. And those that raided Mar-a-Lago, they were putting documents all over the floor. Remember that famous picture? All over, said confidential, said presidential, said all sorts of things. And it was supposed to be there like it was that way when they raided. It wasn't that way. They put them there, took the picture, and released it illegally to the press. They took my medical records, my passport, my birth certificate, and apologized. They even brought a safecracker. This is a professional safecracker they brought into Mar-a-Lago. And they broke into my safe, and you know what they found? Nothing. There was nothing there. Nothing there. Like zero. According to the Presidential Records Act, which was a big deal, I was supposed to negotiate with NARA, which is exactly what I was doing until Mar-a-Lago was raided by gun-toting FBI agents. I have security tapes of it. I gave them security tapes of everything. In a flagrant violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which protects the right against unreasonable search and seizure. And Sebastian, you covered very well, I must say. Very well. I'm not the one who thinks I'm above the law. I'm the one that followed the law. I'm the only one. It's Joe Biden and his corrupt Department of Injustice who think they are above the law. Never before have the two standards of justice in our country been more starkly revealed. Joe Biden had troves of classified documents from his time as vice president and even as a senator, which was completely and totally illegal. In fact, other senators heard about it. Dick Durbin heard about it. You have to see his response. There's no way that's totally illegal. Took him as a senator out of a skiff. They were shocked when they found out. They actually thought it was impossible to do. Biden sent 1,850 boxes to the University of Delaware, making the search very, very difficult for anybody. And he refuses to give them up, and he refuses to let people even look at them. And then they say how he's behaving so nicely. Many of Biden's classified documents were in Chinatown, D.C., Chinatown, which is shocking considering his family receives so much money from China. I wonder how many times the friends of ours from China reviewed those documents. Chinatown, D.C. Others were unsecured at his so-called Penn Biden Center in Washington, which paid Biden approximately $1 million a year. The money supposedly coming from China, and still other classified documents were strewn all over his garage floor, where his now famous Corvette is stored. He's so proud of that car. There was no security, and the door was left open most of the time. It was open. All of those classified documents, all of those documents strewn all over the floor, piled up like junk. Unlike me, who had absolute declassification authority as president, Joe Biden as vice president had no authority to declassify and no right to possess the documents. He had no right. Instead of falling under the Presidential Records Act, Biden's actions fell under a much stricter Federal Records Act, which has very, very tough criminal penalties. Yet nothing happens to Crooked Joe. Nothing happened. Have you heard anything about the big search for his documents? No, only me. Most and famously of all, Hillary Clinton set up an illegal private server in her basement. You never heard this story. With the deliberate intention of violating public information laws so she could hide her pay-for-play scandals at the Clinton foundations or whatever. Hillary stored vast quantities of classified and sensitive information on her illicit server. Some of it happened to leak. It leaked into Anthony Weiner's computer. Remember Anthony Weiner? Into his computer. You don't want to be on his computer. And all of it was illegal because thankfully she was never president. She didn't have the powers to declassify. Thank you. Thank you. She didn't have the powers to declassify. It's a big difference. And neither did Joe. You know, Joe didn't have. You mind? Have a drink. It's a little bit cooler than it was, but it's pretty hot out here. Thank you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Great birthday. Nice birthday, isn't it? birthday. Wonderful birthday. They were saying happy birthday. I was with Eric and Laura, the kids. Happy birthday, Grandpa. Happy. And I said, oh, great. I just got charged with, they want 400 years approximately. If you add them all up, a fake 400 years. Oh, thank you, darling. That's so nice. It's a wonderful birthday. We're going to make it into the greatest birthday of all. We'll make it into the greatest of all. When caught, Hillary then deleted and acid washed. Nobody does that because of the expense, but it's pretty conclusive. 33,000 emails in defiance of a congressional subpoena already launched. The subpoena was there, and she decided to delete, acid wash, and then smash and destroy her cell phones with a hammer. And then they say, I participated in obstruction? Now think of it. That's called obstruction. There's never been obstruction as grave as that. She did this in the face of everything, and yet nobody did anything about it. The FBI and the DOJ protected her, did not issue subpoenas, did not use a grand jury, did not execute search warrants, and then the corrupt head of the FBI, James Comey, declared no reasonable prosecutor would bring a case. Can you believe it? And that was just one of many items. Hillary Clinton broke the law, and she didn't get indicted. Joe Biden broke the law, and in many other ways we're finding out, and so far has not gotten indicted. I did everything right, and they indicted me. But, you know, we're serving as a great example. In the case of Bill Clinton's national security advisor, remember that? Sandy Berger. He was caught stealing classified documents from the National Archives, very big ones, very important ones, by stuffing them in his pants. That's pretty. And putting them also in his socks. And he destroyed them and cut the tape with scissors, cut them all up. What Berger did was highly illegal, but he was given nothing, no jail time, nothing happened. There are countless other examples. Bill Clinton, who I happen to like, hard to believe, right? Before I did this, I was actually quite friendly with him. Nice guy. They should have used him a little bit more as an advisor on the 2016 election. He said, you know, you better get to Wisconsin, you're going to lose. No, we're not. You better get to Michigan, you're going to lose. No, we're not. They did. Bill Clinton lost the nuclear codes, and absolutely nothing was done about it. He lost the nuclear codes. The George W. Bush White House lost 22 million emails, a record. NARA cannot assure complete transfer of any of the Bush records. A document shredding truck was spotted on the way to Dick Cheney's house. Can you imagine? Hillary Clinton took hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of furniture, china, flatware, rugs, and more from the White House, and she wasn't prosecuted. How about that one? She took the furniture and the china. How about if Trump did that? You think Trump would have a little problem? The horrific violations of my rights by crooked Joe Biden's weaponized Department of Injustice are unthinkable. It's unthinkable what's happened. So bad for our country. Democrats all, they lawlessly pierced my attorney-client privilege with lawyers. What they did to lawyers, what they have done to our lawyers, all of our lawyers, they've done things that were absolutely horrible and unthinkable. The leaking has been unbelievable and highly illegal. They leak. We've learned more from the Washington Post, New York Times, about the DOJ's boxes hoax. It's a boxes hoax. Than from prosecutors themselves. We want to read about it. You pick up the Washington Post, which is not doing well, or you pick up the New York Times. But they'll do better now because of these things. You know, this is the only way they survive, but they'll end up dying. But it's not supposed to be that way. We don't want to learn from the Times. We don't want to learn from leaks. We want to learn from the people we're supposed to learn from. It's like a leaking sieve in Washington. But we learned nothing about the Biden bribery scheme or special counsel Robert Hur's investigation. Robert Hur is doing the Biden investigation. He's a very respected, very nice person. Very nice person. Mine's not such a nice person. Mine's a deranged lunatic, which are many times the magnitude of ours in both number and severity. That's the prosecutor that they gave. He has found nothing. He totally exonerated Mike Pence. I'm happy about that. Mike did nothing wrong, but he happened to have classified documents in his house. But they exonerated him, and Biden is a different story. I mean, so much. You have to really think about what I said. As a senator, he took all of those documents. It's unprecedented. The prosecutor in the case, I will call it our case, is a thug. I've named him Deranged Jack Smith. I wonder what his name used to be, Jack Smith. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Jack Smith. What's his name? Jack Smith. He's a very nice man. He's a behind-the-scenes guy, but his record is absolutely atrocious. He does political hit jobs. He's been known to viciously arrest a certain governor. You know the governor, Bob McDonnell of Virginia, and absolutely ruined his life and the life of his family. All these wonderful family members, I knew them, only to have the case overturned 8-0 by the Supreme Court. He destroyed that man and he destroyed that family. And by the way, I will tell you, I'm here and I love you all, and we can take it. But what these thugs have done to my family is a disgrace. I will tell you that. And I say it to all of the fake news, because there's a lot of it back there. What they did to my family, and that young man right there, he's answered more subpoenas than any human being in the history of the world. And you know what? They have nothing after all of those subpoenas. Literally thousands of them. Congress, fake counsels, Mueller report, all of this. All he did is answer subpoenas all the time. At least he's become very experienced at that. Congratulations. But Eric is fantastic, and what he and Don and Ivanka and the whole group, that's what they've gone through, and these are serious people. These are serious people. But what he's done to my family, what they have done to my family is horrible. He also tried to railroad John Edwards on a completely bogus legal theory that didn't hold up in court. It's no wonder this raging lunatic was shipped off to The Hague to prosecute war criminals using globalist tribunals, not beholden to the Constitution or the rule of law. Two things Jack Smith clearly disdains. You take a look at this guy. He looks like a thug. But then I watched him make a speech the other day, and he was trembling because it wasn't his territory. He feels much safer in the inner sanctums of the Department of Injustice, where he can be in his room and scream at people. He's a raging and uncontrolled Trump hater, as is his wife, who also happened to be the producer of that Michelle Obama puff piece. It was total puff piece. This is the guy I've got. Don't forget, this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From the Russia hoax, to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt, to impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the 51 lying intelligence offers. How about them? They said it's Russia disinformation, and they knew it wasn't, which made about, according to some of the great pollsters that are right here, made from anywhere from a 10 to 17-point difference. And yet we still got more votes than any sitting president in history in the second election. And we actually did much better in the second election than we did in the first election. The fake dossier, paid for by the Democrats. How about the fake dossier? Remember that one? You think that was easy to go home and say, "Hello, darling, how are you?" when they read about that? It wasn't easy at all. Spying on my campaign. We caught them spying on my campaign. The FBI, Twitter files, and so much more. It's all been a battle of disinformation, one thing after the other, and all to protect the radical left misfits. It's also no coincidence that these charges against me came down the very same day. Evidence revealed Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. Took a $5 million bribe. But the FBI and the Justice Department don't even want to talk about it. They showed something on television tonight. It had zero time on the three major networks, zero. But my impeachment had almost all the time. I think I had 351 minutes. They had no minutes. Okay? I think a lot of people are going to vote. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to vote. I will tell you, I just left Miami, and I've never seen love in the streets like that. I've never seen it. We've seen a lot of love. I've never seen love like that, because they know what we all go through. They know what we've gone through, and they see it, and they're smart. And, you know, many of those people coming from Cuba, Venezuela, other countries, they've seen this happening to their countries. I used to say that the United States, if it keeps going this way, it's going to be Venezuela on steroids. And now we're buying oil from Venezuela. Can you believe it? We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation, but we're buying tar from Venezuela, and we're refining it in Houston, the dirtiest, worst oil probably anywhere in the world, and we're refining it. So you can imagine what's going up in the air, and our beautiful stuff we're not taking out of the ground and making a lot of money and paying off debt and reducing taxes still further, which we were in the process of doing. They want to distract from the real espionage and the real crime, so let's use President Trump to do so. Let's go out and let's indict President Trump so they don't talk about the $5 million bribe. Just yesterday, Senator Grassley revealed that the Burisma executive who allegedly paid the bribe reportedly has Crooked Joe on tape. They have 17 tapes, I understand. He must be a nice guy to deal with, right? The guy from Burisma, nice company. They got him and Hunter on 17 different tapes, supposedly. But the FBI isn't showing them. Remember, they impeached me for asking a simple question about Biden's corrupt dealings in Ukraine, and now they see that once again I was right. I was totally right. Joe Biden and the radical left can take foreign bribes and be totally protected. Republicans all, you must finally get tough. You've got to get tough. You got to get tough, and you got to show them. When you arrest your leading political opponent, we no longer have a democracy. When people are allowed to pour through our open borders and our elections are rigged, our country is in very serious trouble. When inflation is allowed to rage, when energy independence and dominance, we had independence and dominance. We were going to be soon very, very dominant. Within 6 months, we were going to dominate the whole world with energy, make a fortune. We were going to be paying off debt and lowering taxes at a level that nobody's ever seen, and they came in and they ended it. But when that's taken away from us, when interest rates and taxes spiral upward in an uncontrolled way, when murderers are allowed to roam, these are horrible killers, murderers are allowed to roam the streets of our Democrat-run cities unchecked, but the incompetent district attorney in New York indicts Trump for a crime that everybody agrees, every pundit, everybody, there is no crime. But murderers go out and nobody ever even comes and knocks on their door, and they know they're there, and they know their rooms, and they know their locations, and they're roaming our cities all over. And some of them are coming in right now through our borders. But then you have a nation that, as we are, is in serious, serious decline. We have a nation in serious decline. If the communists get away with this, it won't stop with me. They will not hesitate to ramp up their persecution of Christians, pro-life activists, parents attending school board meetings, and even future Republican candidates, which they do. We must end it permanently, and we must end it immediately. Now that the seal, so important, is broken. The seal is broken by what they've done. They should never have done this. This was an unwritten rule. You just don't, unless it's really bad. But you just don't. But the seal is now broken. In addition to closing the border and removing all of the criminal elements that have illegally invaded our country, making America energy independent and even dominant again, and immediately ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. I'll have it ended in 24 hours. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Name a special prosecutor. And all others involved with the destruction of our elections, our borders, and our country itself. They're destroying our country. And when I'm reelected, and we will get reelected, we have no choice. We're not going to have a country anymore. I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate the deep state. And we know who they are. I know exactly who they are. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They want you silent. And I am the only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you.
Well, there you go. They got the, you heard it from the man himself. Turn that down there while you're watching him make his exit. Yep, basically it's a witch hunt. They don't understand. He has access to those documents. They can't do a damn thing. They're going to try to pretend that they can. And the normies are just going to be like, okay, he's a criminal. Shout out to Right Side Broadcasting for that. Hosting of that Trump speech. We appreciate y'all. Thank God we got a network like them that'll show it in its entirety, not piece it together with a bunch of rude commentary talking over them. They'll drop out of the speech. They'll go to commercial. Nobody wants to see commercials, man. We want to watch this man speak. Yeah, what's Tapper got to say about that? Dude, he was infuriated. They probably watch Right Side Broadcasting too. I'd be willing to bet they do just to see what the other side's doing, like we do for them. They probably don't like it at all. At all. Chris Christie Cookie was talking about him earlier today. Actually, it was probably a couple days ago, but I got the clip. Let me try to find it. He was saying, what the hell has Trump done? Not a damn thing. You know, Christy Cookie, he likes to try to cuss every now and then to seem like he's being edgy, I guess, you know. Edgy Reggie. We got a few little stories still to get on to here. Give me just a second. And I thought Christie Cookies was something that everybody knew about, but that's just a local thing from what I can understand. All right, here's Christie Cookie talking with Anderson Cooper. He's blasting Donald Trump again.
If we put him back in the White House, the reruns will be worse than the original show was. Why worse?
Oh, because he's so angry now. He's angry and he's vengeful, and he said, I will be your retribution. Well, I don't think I don't want him to be my retribution. I don't need him to do that, and I don't think anybody in America needs it either. He wants to be retribution for himself. I am convinced that if he goes back to the White House, that the next 4 years will all be about him just settling scores, Anderson, with everybody who he thinks wasn't perfect.
Hell yeah, it is, bitch.
Be nice to him, you know, and the bottom himself. I am convinced that if he goes back to the White House, that the next 4 years will all be about him just settling scores, Anderson, with everybody who he thinks wasn't perfectly nice to him, you know, and the bottom line is that if you're lucky enough to become the President of the United States, every day you should wake up thinking about what you do for the people of this country, not what scores you need to settle for yourself. And he has shown himself, and I think most particularly in his post-presidency, to be completely self-centered, completely self-consumed, and doesn't give a damn about the American people, in my view, if what the American people want is in conflict with what Donald Trump thinks is best for him. And I don't think that's who we want sitting behind the desk in the Oval.
Shut up, Chris Christie Cookie. Big old bastard. Dude, does anybody want to vote? And Mike Pompeo's bitch ass too. He was talking shit on Trump. Didn't he try to run for president too? But he dropped out. Maybe he's still in there. I don't know. I saw him trying to run too. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? What the hell are you doing now? And don't ask Biden about Burisma. He'll bite your damn head off. Watch him get upset about this reporter asking him about this on an HBO show.
Hunter Biden, your son, was getting paid a lot of money to serve on the board of a Ukrainian energy company facing serious corruption charges. You were the vice president running point on Ukraine. The average Joe hears that and says, that sounds fishy. What's your understanding of what your son was doing for an extraordinary amount of money?
I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board. I found out he was on the board after he was on the board, and that was it. And there's nobody...
Well, you've had a lot of time. Isn't this something you want to get to the bottom of?
No, because I trust my son.
But that doesn't pass the smell test. Like when you're vice president, isn't there a higher standard? Don't you need to know what's happening with your family? Don't you need to put down some guardrails?
Unless there was something that was... there was something on its face that was wrong. There's nothing on its face that was wrong. So look, if you want to talk about problems, you know, let's talk about Trump's family. I mean, come on. This is...
So
these guys are amazing.
So you think that everything that happened was kosher?
You know there's not one single bit of evidence, not one little tiny bit, to suggest anything done was wrong.
To suggest anything done was wrong. So he didn't say, hey, I didn't do nothing. He says there is not one little piece of evidence that anything was shown was done wrong. Okay. Biden's terrible. It's the downfall of America. And yeah, Trump's going to remember all those backstabbers, dude. Chris Christie Cookie. You're going to be one of them, fool. Talking all that shit. Let's watch what happens at the White House when they have Pride Day.
Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Year. Happy Pride Life. Yeah! Transgender children.
You are beautiful.
You are heard.
You belong.
You are understood.
You are loved.
And you belong. One of the bravest and most inspiring people I've ever known.
I mean, you're welcome.
Good folks.
Can we take a little video? Hi, Mr. President. It is an honor. Trans rights are human rights. Oh, it's a video. Oh, it's a video.
What is Gucci? The monument's in red, right?
Gay news.
Are we topless at the White House?
Topless at the White House. Wow. Probably should have gave a graphic warning for that, but if it's good enough for the White House, it's good enough for YouTube. Whoopsie dango. So that dude you saw there in the white dress, flashing his boobies all over the joint. It's one of them transient TikTokers. Says that a family-friendly White House Pride event attended by children, a transsexual social media star indecently exposed. Andy says herself, but this is a dude right here. He's got the total package, if you know what I'm saying. He's got the twig and berries happening downstairs. Exposed herself with other trans people in a stunt on camera. The White House, who had invited her, says she would not be invited to future events. Bye-bye. Get that out of here. Rose Montoya. The White House bans trans TikTok model Rose Montoya and friends for going topless at the Pride celebration. That's post-millennial thinking for that article. I'm not going to read that whole thing. It says this behavior is inappropriate and disrespectful for any event at the White House. A White House spokesperson reported to the Messenger when asked, "It is not reflective of the event we hosted to celebrate the letter people's families and or the other hundreds of guests who were in attendance. Individuals in the video will not be invited to future events." We'll see what happens, because Montoya posed with Biden. You saw the video there. You saw the video. And then he posted a video to like a rebuttal, I guess you would say, to said allegations. I mean, and to his defense, dude had a point about showing bare boobs. He said it was illegal in DC. I don't know if that's true or not. Atomic says topless is kids friendly. It was that time. But in their defense, they're saying that they're not going to let him back up there. So if I can get the video. Because he was upset. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
At the White House to try. It has recently come to my attention that conservatives are trying to use the video of me topless at the White House to try to call the community groomers, etc. And I would just like to say that, first of all, going topless in Washington, D.C. is legal. And I fully support the movement in freeing the nipple, because why is my chest...
Freeing the nipple. He's about to give you some mind games right here, though.
Now deemed inappropriate or illegal when I show it off. However, before coming out as trans, it was not. All you're doing is affirming that I am a woman. All you're doing is saying that trans women are women, because for some reason, people like to sexualize women's bodies and say that they are inappropriate. My trans masculine friends were showing off their top surgery scars and living in joy, and I wanted to join them. And because it is perfectly within the law in Washington, D.C., I decided to join them and cover my nipples just to play it safe, because I wanted to be fully free and myself. I had zero intention of trying to be vulgar or be profane in any way. I was simply living in joy, living my truth, and existing in my body. Happy Pride. Free the nipple.
Free the nipple. Welcome to womanhood, bitch. Oh, shit. Women can't just go around hanging their boobs everywhere, lady. If you don't know, now you know. Now you know. If you wanted to show bare chest, you should have just left them how they were, I guess. I don't know. I'm no doctor on the subject by any means. Yeah, fuck it. While we're closing it off, fuck it. Ball bags and taints everywhere. Who cares? Sonia says, I'm more concerned with the pride flag. I heard it was a violation of flag rules. KJP failed to answer when asked. And no, we're not affirming. You are a hoe. Yeah, that's y'all's now. You got to claim that. Y'all got to claim that one now. Not everybody's going to put up with it, though. A bunch of middle schoolers at Borough Mass Schools, it's probably in Massachusetts, I think, protested the pride of celebrations at school. They wore red, white, and blue clothing instead of rainbow clothes, chanted USA are my pronouns, and took down pride flags. Pride flags. Let's watch these based individuals right here doing what needs to be done.
These displays of intolerance and homophobia are
And I need to give context. The teachers are upset. The staff is totally irate. They are upset like a mofo that this is even happening, that the kids are standing up for themselves and they have a choice to do what they want to do or celebrate or not, or be part of it or not. They want to affirm children except for their ideals that they want to put toward them. If they think for themselves, oh hell no, that ain't happening.
This type of intolerant rhetoric starts in the home.
Parents angry at town hall over intolerance at Marshall Simons Middle School. Kids were asked to wear rainbow clothes in honor of Pride Spirit Day, but some organized a counter-protest wearing red, white, and blue or black. The principal sharing a statement to families that Pride posters were ripped down, stickers ripped up. Some students chanted USA are my pronouns, and students showing Pride were intimidated.
It was an unruly disruption, in fact, that was organized ahead of time.
While some parents were upset, others say it was...
Hold on, man. When they're saying that this is an unruly disruption, just think about all the people in with the pride flags going right down the hallway, going, we, hey, everybody, pride this, pride that, shove it in your fucking face. Eat that rainbow shit. Eat it. Now they're upset because kids don't want to get involved with it? Come on, man.
Some of the kids threw the stickers on the ground. But, you know, I can only speak for my daughter. She didn't want to wear that to school. It's not that she wanted to hurt anybody's feelings.
She says her daughter felt coerced to participate in the Pride event and was offended by some of the messages, like this quote from Tennessee Williams.
Human heart cannot be straight. It is curves and winds. And my daughter just kind of said, you know, Mom, that's offensive to me, who I am straight.
But even parents like her, opposed to the Pride Month celebration, say the ripping of posters was wrong.
I think destructing any property is wrong. I think, you know, I just think that was wrong.
Parents and community groups now calling for the town and school board to act and support diversity, equity, and inclusion. The incident sparking discussion at home on both sides.
My thing that I teach my kids is just be kind, and I wish the schools would just kind of pump the brakes on what they're shoving down these kids' throats.
The issue of pride in schools is very controversial. I understand that. I think we need to start at a place of commonality.
Now, the principal says that no one was forced to participate in the Pride Day event, but now parents on both sides want dialogue. Live in Burlington, Sean Shiabat, WCVB News Center 5.
Yeah, I got that video too, Sonia. Don't rush me now, woman. I'm trying to get there. I'm not as fast as I used to be. Oh, before I go too far, look at the shit-eating grin on Biden's face. Biden smirks and refuses to answer questions after his Justice Department arrests Trump. And they have a video of it, but we've seen this stupid look on his face a million times. Do we really got to go watch the video to see his stupid smirk? Look at that smirk. Oh, Papa Smirk. The hell out of here. You old Bassett. Keep this train rolling though. We're talking about these transients having... Dude, they're men or women, women or men now. Don't y'all understand that? They have the same problems that y'all have. PMS and whatnot. Listen to this young lady tell her story.
People want to say that I don't experience PMS symptoms, but I've been cramping incredibly bad all day, and at some point my pain tolerance went away and it started hurting incredibly bad for the last 2 hours, so much so that it made me go and throw up 3 times. So yeah, PMS symptoms are ruining my Disney trip.
Dude, is this AOC with a fucking beard? Dude, that's AOC with a fucking beard, homeboy. Oh my god.
My Disney trip. People want to say that I don't.
Oh, dude, that ruined his Disney trip. Oh my god, dude, I can't do it no more. Y'all killing me. Oh, Six is in the house. What's up, Six? I forgot to say hi to you, sir. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find that clip. So many clips, man. You don't even know. Y'all don't even know. Yeah, he was talking about having cramps on you. He was talking about having those cramps. He knows what y'all go through. He can identify now. Here's another story Sonia was just referencing a second ago. Parents from the Edison High School in Huntington Beach, California, were making a video go viral. Whoops. Their students were forced to watch a Pride video in math class. What the fuck Pride has to do with math class, I have no idea. But when the students were uncomfortable with it, the teacher threatened them with weekend detention. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't threaten me with a good time. You say I'm going to spend some time in detention, I don't give a fuck. Give me 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, nobody cares.
Wow, my flag. Wow. Why are you starting with the kids?
Hey, I'll warn you guys now, if you're going to be inappropriate, I will have supervision down and give all of you a Saturday school for next year. So knock it off.
Okay.
I'd have been like, so? Nobody wants to watch this crap. Not everybody's gay in this motherfucker. Not everybody cares about all the shit that you care about. This is math class, bitch. 9, 5 plus 4 pennies. Add that shit up. Yep, 1 plus 1 does equal gay, Sonia. Yeah, boo. Fuck them people. And that's teachers, man. I get asked all the time, am I doing the right thing by homeschooling my kids? I mean, yeah, answer your own questions when you watch a video like that. Let's see what the memes are happening with DeSantis right now. They want to call DeSantis the next one, so let's see what's happening.
While you were frozen, we began a program to clone you. Cool.
Send in the clown!
He is exactly like you in every way. Except 1/8 your size.
Breathtaking. I shall call him Meatball.
Meatball. DeSantis is a goob. Let's see what, I mean, Joe Rogan is not the biggest Trump fan, I can tell you that straight off, but he's got a good point about how they treat Trump versus the Democrats.
Though, if you go back and listen to that guy lying about his education record and lying about his accomplishments, and like he's always been a problem.
Yeah, politician, that whole it's a fucking.
And also all the fucking stuff with his son and the ties to Ukraine and China and the money, the family they got paid millions of dollars, and everyone's trying to obscure it because it's better than Trump. If that guy was a Republican, they would be up his ass with a microscope.
I know, it is unbelievable.
But he represents what they thought was like a sane alternative to what President Trump was.
Yeah.
They thought, this is insane. Donald Trump is the president? Fuck that. Anything's better than him. And so they went with this corrupt career politician.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild stuff, man. They even got the FBI involved in telling Twitter to censor the information about the laptop. It's crazy.
But how do we get out of that space? How do we, because we're starting to turn into one of those kind of like Central American countries where the government is so like it's crazy. Yeah. It used to be a long time ago, like if the secrets of our country got out, like during Watergate or whatever, right? Yeah. People were like, fuck no. But now, if the secrets get out, people are like, fuck yes, tell us what's going. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting how that's kind of changed. Like, before it would be like if any like top secret documents or whatever were released, it would seem like wrong.
Well,
but now if they're released, we want to know what it is. It's like, does that make any sense?
Well, when was top secret documents released that are showing that someone is behaving in an illegal way where it's bad? I mean, Watergate. That was what Watergate was all about.
Yeah.
They found out that Nixon was spying. I mean, I think the problem is that, first of all, the media is overwhelmingly left-leaning. And if you have a left-leaning politician or a left-wing Democratic politician, and then you have this media that essentially works to support that person, I mean, they ignore any information that leads to distrust in the government or distrust in this administration or distrust in this party, this political party.
Yeah, it's the dark arts, man.
It is the dark. That.
The dark arts, man. That's politics. Lie, 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 lie. Keep on lying some more. And here's the trans flags all over. All the flags of the world have been replaced with the alphabet flags at the Rockefeller Center in New York. Every single one of them, dude. That's crazy as hell. I know it's Pride Month. Couldn't y'all do every other one or something? And then people would get mad that their flag was taken down. They were just like, fuck it, let's do them all. The most oppressed group in the history of the world, though. Just so you know. And shouldn't the month of June be dedicated to this? D-Day happened in June. Instead of this shit here. Come on, man. Come on, man. No, that was a real mullet there, Devin. That was a real mullet that he had. Yeah, Mama Cub, a new member to the channel, says they are trying to cause division with fake schemes. For sure, 100%. They love to keep people divided. We need a palate cleanser under all this bad news about Trump. But you heard him though. He ain't scared of these fools, man. He ain't scared. Let's watch this little girl find her. That kid was happy as hell. Said, I found her. Oh my God. The dog was like, dang, where have I been? I just went for a walk. I got lost. Here goes some news about the Nashville shooter. The writings haven't been released yet, but the autopsy, some of those details have been revealed. The Nashville shooter, Audrey Hale, had writings on her shirt and bra. Medical examiner reveals. We're not going to get into the whole article there, but they're still working on those. They started working on those, trying to get the writings released to the parents, so they're working on it, I guess. Yeah, and we talked about precedent being set earlier from Trump. Listen to him on this talk show here. He calls in and gives people his opinion. Said precedent is set. The public now understand that if Trump's DOJ were to go after high-profile politicians, that's why Chris Christie Cookie was so upset that Trump's going to get revenge. Oh, he's mad now. He's going to get revenge on everybody that hurt his feelings. Yep, everybody that did him wrong, he's coming for y'all fools.
I want to read you something you wrote today on Truth Social. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the USA, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family, and then on from there. But I mean, would you really appoint someone, or where does this all end?
Well, they've opened up the box. Look, Bill Barr is a weak coward, and he didn't want to do anything on this, and yet, in many ways, a lot of people, sort of, including me, I said, I get it, because you don't want to go after sitting presidents and vice presidents and all of the things. So I sort of got it. Not necessarily a believer, but now they've opened up the Pandora's box. And now we're in a position where we can say, and look at the corruption in the Biden family, the millions and millions of dollars pouring in from China and other places. It's a disgrace. From Burisma, you take a look at the money coming in from Ukraine. So much money, and nobody does anything about that. Well, we're gonna get to it, and now we can do it now, because now the box has been opened. It's the Pandora's box that has been opened, and it's been wide open. So I'm allowed to do that. People will say, "Now we get it."
Boom! Told y'all. All this dumb shit they're trying to put toward Trump, let it go ahead and happen. That's just setting precedents for Biden and Hillary and Obama and everybody else that was involved in any kind of weird shit to have their card pulled too now. Mm-hmm. I don't know y'all saw this story of the Denier Benton. She calls Ron DeSantis the current Grand Wizard of Florida at the Tony Awards. I'm going to play the audio.
Thank you. And proud CMU alum. Earlier tonight, CMU and the Tony Awards presented the 2023 Excellence in Theater Education Award. And while I am certain that the current governor of my home state of Florida will be changing.
She was pretty excited about saying that. So she's saying that Ron DeSantis is the Grand Wizard. Well, look at what we have here. She married to a white boy. What you doing there? You a darker girl. You married to a white man. And Mimo and them are just fine. It's fine to be white. It's not a problem. If you don't fit the agenda, they'll throw you away, though. I bet she'll ride that bike, though. She will ride that bike all the way to the store. Check out some of this other dumb shit. Biden's decisions done caused Africa to dump the U.S. dollar. They said, dude, why are we even messing around with the U.S. dollar when we're doing stuff in our own country? Psh, we don't need them.
Traders from Djibouti selling to Kenya, or traders from Kenya selling to Djibouti, have to look for US dollars. How is US dollars part of the trade between Djibouti and Kenya? Why? And we are saying that today, Afri-Exim Bank have given us a mechanism where traders in our continent can trade in their goods and services, and the Africa-Exim Bank will settle payments in local currency. That is why Kenya champions the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System that is done by our own institution, the Afri-Exim Bank. Why, members? Why is it necessary for us to buy things from Djibouti and pay in dollars? Why? There is no reason. And we are not against the US dollar. We just want to trade much more freely. Let us pay in US dollars what we are buying from the US. But what we are buying from Djibouti, let's use local currency.
You can't hate on the man for wanting that. You do your own thing with your own people. Get that money. Stimulate your own damn economy. Let's keep this thing rolling here. Yeah, Sonia, you had a point there. Just like Illinois, Kentanji, Kamala, and Don Lemon, they all got the white man, and AOC. All white men are racist except theirs, because they're progressive, Sonia. They're not them racist conservatives. Like Texas Greg Abbott, who deployed a new barrier to keep undocumented immigrants from crossing the Rio Grande. Let's watch that. Racist.
An estimated 6 million undocumented immigrants crossing our southern border since 2021. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is desperate to slow that flow.
Today, he unveiled a new strategy aimed at making it much more difficult to swim or wade across the Rio Grande. Fox 26 political reporter Greg Rugen here to explain what is being deployed. Greg.
Caroline and Rashi, this new barrier is part of what Abbott calls a layered defense. In other words, before immigrants get past state troopers and border patrol, before they get past rows of razor wires, they will have to get past a man-made wall floating in the water.
What these buoys will allow us to do is to prevent people from even getting to the border.
Calling it breaking news, Governor Greg Abbott unveiled the latest taxpayer-funded tool to deter uninvited immigration. He calls them water-based barrier buoys to be strategically positioned in the middle of the Rio Grande. DPS Commander Steve McCraw calls the countermeasure a deterrent for migrants who choose to enter the water.
It's very difficult to be able to go through these. Very difficult to come over.
The first 1,000 feet will be deployed near Eagle Pass, with more certain to follow. Part of a $5 billion fully state-funded border security campaign aimed at slowing the flow of unauthorized people and illicit drugs.
Today, public enemy number one are the Mexican cartels, the most powerful and ruthless and violent criminal organization in the world right now.
In addition to the river buoys, the governor signed bills designating the cartels as terrorist organizations. funding local law enforcement training, expanding the use of National Guard surveillance drones, authorizing Border Patrol agents to arrest, search, and seize under Texas law, as well as substantial financial aid for landowners who've suffered property damage from drug smugglers and human traffickers. The governor insists positioning more troopers and guardsmen on the border is saving lives.
They have seized enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in the entire United States of America. The context is very simple. Washington, D.C. has failed to do its job to secure our border.
Back to those floating barrier buoys. As you can imagine, they are not cheap. That first 1,000 feet reportedly cost several $100,000. Rashi, Caroline?
Well, very interesting.
God,
Great
dang.
to see that report. Thanks, Greg.
Several $100,000, and I spotted a flaw with him already. He said it was hard to go over. Why don't you just swim under that shit? I don't know. What's the underside of it look like would be my question. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Here goes Biden again with his shit. Here we go again. The White House upholds the mask requirement for unvaccinated people on the college athlete day guest despite national emergency termination. I'm not going to read that whole article, but you can find that on the Gateway Pundit. I want to give a shout out to all my rebels while we're in the middle of this thing. Boom. Thank you guys so much for being here. I definitely appreciate y'all. Wasn't the usual format for the show tonight because we had Trump's deal going down. But I definitely appreciate all you guys hanging out with me so late, getting things done. Shout out to my moderators as well. Anthony McQuaid, Atomic Tabasco, Cat F, Zeta Wichi's Cane Sword, Latina and Callie, and the beautiful Miss Sonia Scrapbook. Best damn co-host on the internets. Make sure you guys jump over to the Rumble channel. We're about to do that here in a second. Actually, you know what? We're running up on 2 hours. I don't think I'm going to do just exclusive Rumble tonight. Or maybe we'll do a little bit. Because there are some things that need to be shown. Oh, lordy. I can't show that. Can't show that shit on YouTube. Oh, my God. Yeah, peace out, Atomic. Thanks for coming. Sonia says, if and when Trump gets back in, we have so many people in drugs here already. The damage is already done. Oh, I know, dude. It's going to have to be some hardcore drug laws. Not even drug laws. They got drug laws. They need to enforce shit and overturn the shit where they said free crack pipes and all that. That's Biden's legacy right there. Harm reduction. Not harm elimination, harm reduction. Yeah, so we need to do a quick Rumble show. So if everybody wants to jump over to the Rumble channel, I'm going to give you a second to do all that. Talk about the NYC Mayor Eric Adams is to cut services for New Yorkers so 74,000 illegal aliens can stay in hotels free of charge. That's on Breitbart.com. I'm not going to read that whole article either. Did y'all see last week that damn Toronto Blue Jay reportedly, Anthony Bass, he was apologizing for some comments that he made about boycotting Target and Bud Light because they're doing the transient stuff. He apologized, but they fired him anyway. Dumbass. He got fired any damn way. Damn. Make sure you guys follow me on Rumble over there, Rebel Without a Reason. Follow me on Twitter, Rebel WOA Reason. Same handle on Instagram. This broadcast will be available on your favorite podcasting platforms after this. I definitely appreciate y'all being here. We're going to jump over and do the Rumble show now because there's some things we got to show y'all that cannot be shown on YouTube. So let's go do it. Thank you guys for being here with me tonight. I will see y'all next time on Thursday night. Stick around after the Rumble show. We're going to do the music show tonight. It's Tuesday night. But let's do this thing. Peace out, YouTube. I will see y'all later.
Let's get